Welcome back to the feed. The head of a leading Canadian artificial intelligence company states the following: AI is a valuable tool and it's time to put aside the hysteria and stop fearing artificial intelligence. Sebastien Pare is the president and CEO of VIQ Solutions based in Toronto, an AI company that utilizes artificial intelligence for practical applications surrounding our everyday lives: policing, government services, insurance, and journalism, just to name a few. He joins us now on the feed. Welcome, Sebastien. Great to have you on the show with us.
Pleasure to be here today.
So you've been quoted as saying, AI, embrace it, understand it, respect it, so as not to fear it. Where is the fear of AI coming from?
I believe the fear really overall comes from a lack of planning. I think this is nothing new. AI has been building up for several decades. It's just there's been a turning point, the same way the internet was at one point. Now it's really we're finding ourselves in a position, if you saw it coming, if you've been able to plan for it and deploy your capital and work with your employees to prepare them for this revolution, I think most companies are well positioned. I think a big part of the fear has been on most organizations, most employers have not been planning accordingly.
I also think that there's fear of the unknown, and there's also fear that AI is more intelligent than human beings.
Yeah, so there's obviously that aspect of it. I don't think we see it the same way. We see it as a major productivity powerhouse that allows all our employees globally, basically with the work that we do that touches thousands of lives every day, just to be more productive and then redefine a way a transcription, a document is being done today using technology. So it's really about redefining the role and evolving towards really embracing what we can gain in terms of productivity, which allows a lot of our employees to do a lot more and with higher level of interest in the skills and the tasks that they're performing every day.
Is it fair to ask you, Sebastien, exactly the definition of artificial intelligence?
Yeah, for us, obviously it's really about predictions and learnings. It's the anticipation of what's coming next through the learnings. So you need training data in order to make sure you model and you train data. You need input data to increase the prediction and the ability to anticipate. And you need a lot of feedback data, both from the machine but also from the human experts to improve prediction accuracy. That's fundamentally what it is. But you reach a point where prediction becomes deeper and richer. And that's what we've seen in the last several months now, that people are waking up to now, oh my God, accuracy is much better. But at the same time, this is where the value of judgment comes in. And this is where the human interaction comes in, which is where the training comes in. So for us, we saw it coming. It's been many, many years in the process. But fundamentally, it's about prediction and learnings and the ability to actually incorporate into your workflow what we do every day.
So the human being is still the one harnessing AI and guiding AI, if you will.
100%. I mean, I think people will always realize we've all been contributing to where we are today, whether or not you use the internet, which most of us do, whether or not you write, whether or not you speak, using any mobile devices or anything like that. We've all been participants and actors in building up this great repository that we've seen becoming open source in the last couple of months. So as far as that's concerned, it's truly a revolution. It's underway. And I think instead of focusing on all the elimination of jobs or anything like that, in the contrary, for those of us who are willing to learn and plan for it, it's been a great productivity boost and the ability to redefine a lot of our jobs internally. Also in terms of our contracts and what we do for our customers.
In the introduction, I mentioned that your company, VIQ Solutions, has been utilizing AI for practical applications, things like policing, insurance. I'm most interested in journalism. How is it applied to journalism?
Well, I'll just give you an example. If I just don't mind reading something for your listeners, I think that's going to bring it to bear. 1 hour of verbatim audio and video recording takes an average of a professional typist around 4.7 hours worth of work. That's the reality today. When we incorporate AI in our workflow, including for journalism, the average hour-long file takes now an average of 3 hours of work, which is nearly 2 hours less of working time. Our work obviously impacts thousands of people globally, whether or not it's journalism, reporting on the news, whether or not it's an insurance adjuster dealing with the claims, whether or not it's a police officer that should be on the street, not writing notes back in the office, or even a judge in the court settings. So I think if you think about the scale, we're processing 20 million minutes of content every year. And with AI so far, we've shaved roughly 500,000 hours. That's about 20,000 work days worth of typing per year. It doesn't mean the human element has been taken out of the loop. In the contrary, but instead of spending 3/4 of their time writing a first draft, now they're working on editing a first draft. They're working on analyzing the content, and we've opened up a whole new line of service with our customers in terms of mining the data on behalf of our customers. That's really what the power of AI is about, is really transforming that role and the ability to drive that productivity across the organization.
So, but that all makes sense when you say this, but there also is that deep-seated fear that you might be replaced by AI because AI is more efficient and time, the consumption of time is less when it comes to productivity. That makes a human being kind of think, well, AI can do it, I can't, and so there goes my job.
A very good point, and we've faced this all along. For us, it's been a 5 years journey. We're now into the final year of a 5 years journey to drive our first iteration of AI. And we've been facing this in every region where we operate globally. It really comes down to there's nothing different from a spreadsheet, basically 25 years ago, where everybody was spending their time doing the math and making sure the basic numbers were right. Now, most of us don't even bother with those numbers because we've reached a level of accuracy, but we've elevated what we're working on. And I think that's really what's happening is people need to get off in terms of it's all about the fear. We understand that, but it's about what are you going to do about it? Ignoring the problem is not going to make it go away. It's here to stay. And I think at this point, it's about leaning in and really embracing the new skills because what we've found in our industry is we're also attracting new talents that never thought that transcriptionists and editors is something that they want to do. Now we're starting to attract a whole new level of generation of talents coming in because they want to participate and they understand that their skill set is actually going to be much higher if they've been able to demonstrate that they can work in collaboration with machine learning.
Sebastien, can AI fall into the wrong hands? We think about some world powers that are threatening, and can it be used for evil rather than for good?
Well, I think, you don't have to search much further than our cases. I mean, we're involved with the courts. We're involved with the lawyers. We're involved where it matters. Documentation does matter. And there's been a couple cases that I'm sure your listeners can relate to lately that, false information or inaccurate information was provided because they went on a bot and they went on a search engine. So the reality is I think what you're going to see as far as regulations and what we've been encouraging all along is really about the training and the data that goes in. Be very specific. How are you training your AI? What kind of quality data is inputted into the model? What does that mean? What's the quality check? And you're going to see a lot more disclosure moving forward, whether or not it's VIQ on behalf of our companies to our customers, whether or not it's other companies. There's going to be a lot more emphasis on disclosure. What are you doing about training your data? What kind of checks and balances can you put in the system to make sure that the data being used to train those AI models is as accurate as it can be? And obviously, this is something that it's now widely dominating in the media lately for reasons.
What's next for AI, in your view?
I think it's about the industry specific. I think, the world is waking up to ChatGPT-4 and all of that, but this has been in the works for decades. It's all been happening at a high level. Now it's really going into what we call industry specific. And I think, basically now that's where it's going to go next. Who can actually drive this productivity powerhouse and productivity boost in an industry that is ripe and ready for this transformation? And obviously transcription is really well positioned. Nobody will argue that the way we do transcription today and we create verbatim documentation is different from, before speech to text and all of that. So I think for us, it's really clear. It's no longer big tech Fortune 500 driving AI. Now it's going really specific into industry, and really the open community, the open source community is a big factor. Now it's becoming democratized. It's available to all if you can harness and if you can actually go and plan for it. So From our perspective, it's really about the industry-specific application.
Sebastien Pare, President and CEO, VIQ Solutions. This was fascinating. Thank you so much for your time on the feed.
Thank you for being here today, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon.